How are you?
Good. Oh my
Good.
gosh, this is so exciting. Woo! I'm like, oh, my heart's like, what a rush. Ooh.
No, we already get the singing. I love it. This is really special for you because you grew up here, and a lot of your story is based here. How are you feeling about that?
It's so wonderful. It is such a full circle moment, like a full circle that I never knew I was gonna take, you know?
Yep.
So this is just wild, and it's wonderful to see so many of you here and to be a part of this just conversation.
Yeah.
And thank you for being here. Oh my gosh.
Thank
this
you.
is-
I have
yeah.
to say, I feel very
Also
lucky.
growing up here.
Yes, I grew up here, and I'm ex-Mormon as well, so we're going to have a great
Oh
conversation.
my gosh. Yeah.
I do have to say, though, I feel really lucky because I think I'm one of the few people that can say I have a personal voice note from David Archuleta singing my name.
Hey.
You sent me this voice note like a few weeks
yeah.
ago, and
Yeah.
should I play it?
If you want,
It's
sure.
really good.
Oh my gosh,
I
I'm
literally
like, what did I
texted
do?
him back, and I was like, that's going to be my ringtone, so just so you know. Let's see if you can even hear it. Let's-
Jessi's been a friend. Yeah, I know she's been a good friend of mine.
Isn't that amazing? So there's a little sneak peek of the vocals, you know. I love it. But no, I
love
do
that.
want to talk about your book because it's why we're here. And I read it in 2 days. It's incredible. Whoever hasn't read it yet, you're in for a treat. It was everything you'd want from a book. It was heartwarming. It was sad. It was uplifting. It was spiritual, just everything. So you're welcome. I wanted to ask you where your mindset was when you started writing the book because, you know, what made you want to do this now? Tell your story at this time in your life.
Yeah, well, when I first started thinking about writing a book, I was still in the church. Y'all know, the Church of Jesus Christ. of
Yeah,
Latter-day
you
Saints.
know.
Yeah, the church. I usually have to explain and give a rundown,
Yeah.
but we're
We're in
home.
Utah.
We're home. Okay, y'all know, y'all fam. But I was, there's stuff that was going on. That's my nephew. Sorry, y'all. That's my nephew.
So cute.
All my fam's here. So my they get a pass.
Number one fan.
And actually he's a Beatles fan. He's like
Oh.
when he was 2, they did like na 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 hey 2 because that's one of his favorite songs.
That's so cute.
Anyway, so I was still in the church, but I was talking to one of my friends and just kind of talking about how difficult it was to try and figure out how to navigate coming out because I'd come out by that point.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how it was going to look. I was in the middle of conversations with some of my church leaders, and I was like, this just isn't making sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying my best to fit in and also just help them understand where I'm coming from, but I feel like it's not really, it's like the relationship is changing.
Yeah.
I haven't really changed other than I said I was going to start dating guys. I was still
Yeah.
living my life the same way otherwise.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand why I was getting such a cold shoulder because of one thing. And what I felt were a lot of judgments towards that. So I was talking to my friend Jeanette McCurdy, and she said, have you thought of writing a book? And I was like, I have thought of writing a book. And she said, I would love, if you're open to it, I would love to introduce you to the team that I wrote my first book with. And she's written 2 books now. So I'm glad my mom died. And then she has Half His Age that she just released.
Oh, yeah.
But after the conversation, she said, hey, I just wanted to follow up. I would really love to make an introduction to my team if you're still up for it. And I said, I would love that. And so that's kind of what stemmed it. And I really framed the book with the introduction. That was the very first thing I wrote from the book. And it was here in Salt Lake City. I was at the airport here. And as I was just kind of like with my head down, because I was kind of embarrassed, because I was like, I don't know what people think of me anymore. Now that I've been out and I'm like still in the church, but I don't know if people even want me to succeed. Like
So
I was
sad.
just confused. And that's when someone came up to me in the, who has anyone already read the book by chance here?
My gosh!
Okay. Hey.
Amazing.
Okay. Well, so y'all have seen the introduction and the rest of you will see the introduction. But when I was in the airport, waiting for the rental car to get picked up by my tour manager, Carrie, someone came up to me and he just started saying, "I can't believe you're here." He's like, "I was just thinking about you." And then he asked, he's like, "How did you do it?" And I was like, "How did I do what?" And he said, "How did you come out?" He's like, "I'm literally about to go straight to my bishops for an interview to talk about this. And here you are." And so it really, I talked to him the best, and you'll read how the rest of the conversation goes. But I saw the desperation in his eyes, and I saw how he was just craving to find some kind of hope and answer. Because I asked him, I was like, have you been having, he was saying it's been so hard. And so I asked, have you been having suicidal thoughts? And he said, "I have been for the last month." And I was like, because you just see yourself in someone. I was like, I was just there like a few months ago. And so I think that's when I really started thinking, how did I come out? And what was my process? And so that's how it all began.
I love that. Do you feel like your mindset's different now than when you started writing the book? I'm sure you learned a lot about yourself, your history.
Oh my gosh, yeah. There's so much. I mean, I found out a lot. I'd written the book, and then I found out more information, and then I would rewrite it.
Wow. How long did it take?
So the whole process was like 3 years.
Oh my gosh, I
on
didn't
and off.
realize. Wow.
Yeah, I'd have written the book, and then it was like around 100 pages too long, so I had to take like 100 pages out of it.
I want those 100 pages.
Oh my gosh.
I'll take them.
Oh my gosh. The last pages.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
I'm Mormon at heart.
Oh my gosh.
And he's funny.
Oh my gosh. That was someone over there. That was
funny.
I don't remember what I was talking about.
No, you're good. That was a great way to end that question. Okay, so we both grew up Mormon. We're both ex-Mormon. Tell me about growing up Mormon and where you're at with it now. I mean, I'm sure pretty much everyone in this room can relate to either being Mormon, growing up around it, and that's different than most of your audiences. So give us, the Mormon Utah version of what your childhood was like with that.
What it was like in childhood?
Well, just growing up Mormon and just, what was your experience?
It's so interesting because I was talking to Jessi before we were coming, like backstage waiting to come up. I'm like, I feel so nervous, like extra nervous today, because this is an audience in the state where I did grow up, but there was a certain point in my teenage years where I suddenly became like this example to everybody. And I wasn't trying to, it's just what ended up happening. And so it's kind of weird to be like, am I supposed to be on still? Like, I'm so used to having to like be very mindful of how I look, how I talk, what I say is inappropriate. And, it's not something I think about anymore.
Yeah.
Except for when I'm like here.
Yeah.
So
brings it up.
I'm like, why does it turn on? I think it's just because I was so used to always being watched in a way. I know that sounds kind of weird, but like people would be watching me all the time. Like they would like come up to, anyway, that's another story. But I was being watched no matter what I was doing. And I would hear from like another way, like someone would be like, I heard that you did this. What an example you are. And I was like, I didn't even know anyone was watching me.
Wow.
And so.
And you were so young too for that to be happening.
I guess so, yeah. And because even adults would do it. And I was just like, I'm a teenager. I'm like, you tell me what to do. Like, but I think you still kind of wonder, I'm like, am I still like going to disappoint my fellow Utahns and fellow members of the church with how I'm acting? But I'm like, wait a sec, I don't participate in the church I grew up in anymore, even though I have a lot of, wonderful memories and still have loved ones who do practice it. But it's still like plays a mind game.
Yeah. Well, I do think with you've kept all the good parts. Like you're compassionate, you're such a good person, the kindness. I think the Mormon church does teach us a lot of valuable things like that. And I feel like you have those instilled in you. And it's okay to break away because those aren't exclusive to the Mormon church, right? You can still be that person outside of it. And I think you, right?
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Now
you're
I
a
wanna
great
ask
example
you
of
questions. I want to ask you,
it. Let's flip it around. No.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Okay, well, I'm going to get a little heavy here, but in the book, you do open up about your family's fallout, and you were really young when it happened. So how did that affect you and your siblings, growing up and now sharing it? It's so vulnerable, but what can you share with us about that?
Yeah, that's also a reason why it took quite a bit of time, because I had to like take pauses and be like, okay, this is how I remember it happening. This is how it's still affecting me today, even in my 30s.
Yeah.
Some things, specifically something that happened when I was 9 years old in the book. And so I first wrote it in the way that I recalled it happening. And then I would call my sisters and I would ask them, hey, how do you remember this happening? And then I would talk to another sister and I tried to get like a full picture of what was going on. And so, again, it's in the book, but there was some pretty heavy and wrong accusations that were made against my dad, which involved my sisters. And it's like, oh, it's kind of weird having my sisters here talking about this, but yeah,
There you go.
Yeah, I did have their consent on this. I wanted to make sure they were comfortable and that they felt seen, and so they're like, please, because we never got like clarity with what
Yeah.
happened. We were all kids when all these accusations were happening, and basically, someone that was close to our family tried to take our dad away from us, and it didn't make sense why. And we got more clarity as we got older as adults, not until I was writing this book and just starting to have the hard conversations and confront certain people. And so it was a hard book to write because sometimes it's just easier to move on and just forget about things and be like, you know what, we've moved on from this. But sometimes it's like, well, we can say we moved on, but it's still affecting us.
Yeah.
Like it's still triggering things, even in adulthood, that you revert, when it triggers something, you revert back to your mindset when you were a 9-year-old or
Yeah.
a 10-year-old or however old you are. And so it's like, how can we find a way to release this, to process it and then release it so that we can heal and really move forward the way that I feel
Yeah.
we need to. So that was tricky as well.
Yeah. Do you feel like it was closure for you and your family in a sense to write this book?
I felt like I got closure. Like, how did you?
How did you
How did
guys
my
feel?
sisters? How did y'all feel? I feel like there's mixed.
Good, yeah.
There's probably mixed feelings because everyone experienced it differently, and I know it's a hard conversation to have to suddenly open up. You have to open up to the public. I mean, I know that's you relate to that a lot.
so
where
used
it's
to
just
that.
like, oh, where you're suddenly being vulnerable about a very vulnerable part of your life, and you can't control how other people respond or how they react to it, or if they choose to listen to your whole side of the story, or if they just choose to pick one piece and decide who you are
Yep.
and your whole everybody else for the rest of your life just on 3 seconds of something they heard on you.
Yeah.
And I was really worried about, okay, is my family going to be okay? Like, how are people going to respond? That was something that was really like anxiety inducing when the book was about to get released. But in the end, I feel like I tried, I reread and rewrote. I mean, there's still typos and things in there, no matter how many times you, like there's a snake named Camilo. It's not supposed to be Camilo. The snake is named Canelo.
Oh my gosh.
And I said after the UFC fighter, it's not a UFC fighter, it's a boxer. Canelo the boxer from Mexico. But
Does that
little
just drive
things
you
like
crazy?
that. It does. I'm like, oh.
He's like, I have to clarify.
Yeah. But you reread and you'd say, you know what? I feel like I didn't beat around the bush because for too long in my life, I had to present things as being great. And like, look how together my family is. And it's
Yeah.
because of the gospel that we are so happy. And if you look like you're broken apart, you feel like you're representing your faith and your religion. So you try to keep it together as best as you can for everyone to look at. And I was just like, and same with like my sexuality. I'm like, I'm trying to look like this great, happy, straight Utah Mormon boy.
Yeah.
And I think I just kind of got to a point where I'm like, I can't keep this up anymore.
Yeah.
And because I'm not feeling I can be authentically myself.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt with the whole story in the book. Just like every what we went through coming out, it was just like time to just be real
Yeah.
about my life and let people know how messy it is. And because life is messy.
Yeah.
And
People relate to that, though. I think people are going to feel so seen because of that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Something I loved about the book was you kind of take us through a timeline of your life. You're a child and now you're an adult, and we get to see, your inner thoughts throughout all of that. And I actually loved that, and I don't know if this is intentional, but I felt like when I was reading you as a 9-year-old or a 12-year-old or a 16, I felt that age. Like I felt like you were talking to me and I could feel what, baby David was thinking. And I just loved that because it felt so like authentic to that time. So I wanted to ask you, was it hard to have so much pressure on you from your dad specifically with your singing career? Because after the fallout with your family, he kind of lashed out at your sister and then fixated on you. How did that feel, especially at such a young age?
Yeah, writing the book brought me a lot of clarity to seeing things from my dad's perspective for the first time in like a fully compassionate way. Because for a lot of my life, I just wanted to be mad at my dad, and I wanted to be angry. I like asked, why is he my dad, and why do I have to put up with this? But looking back, I'm like, you know what? He went through a really hard thing, and he had some heavy accusations made at him, and I feel like part of him wanted to escape from that, and I was an outlet for him. And I feel like he focused all of his energy on to me. He wanted to get away from the home, and so he took me to California, and it was his escape. And I'm not going to say all of it was horrible, but a lot of it was just really intense for me. And it's hard to help him understand why it was so intense, because he doesn't look at it the same way that I do. Yeah. And it was a very hard part of the book for me to revisit, because you look at it from the time that you were a little kid.
Yeah.
And the reason why I had to work on the book and rewrite it several times was because I originally wrote it as if, like, only from the perspective I had at that age.
Okay.
And going back, I was able to add more details and be like, wait a second, but that's how you saw it and believed it as a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old. How do you see that now looking back as a 34 or 35-year-old?
Yeah.
And I was able to add perspective and add more compassion to everybody involved.
I love that.
Because it was a lot more tense. And it's interesting that you felt like the age, because that's how I did write it. It's like I wrote it how I remembered it.
But you would also make little comments like, as an adult, I can see it this way. And you could feel the mixture of both of those things. I think that's really cool. That's a lot of pressure, to be put on a kid. But you also did Star Search at American Idol. I mean, that's how we all know him, right? So exciting. But how did it feel to be like the youngest contestant in the show's history? Like, you did such amazing things at such a young age.
Was I? I feel like I definitely was one of the youngest. I don't know if I was the youngest.
Okay, the most
but
memorable
one of the
youngest.
Oh my gosh. I was only like 5 or 6 days younger than Jordan Sparks, but I guess, yeah, you're right.
Really? I didn't realize that.
But I guess I still was younger than her.
Yes, okay, there you win.
She was taller than me, that's for sure. She was like,
That took it.
I'm 5'5", but yeah. Oh, what was the question? Sorry.
How did it feel just to do all that at such a young age? Because now being in front of audiences and having people judge you, you can handle it different as an adult. But as a kid, that must have been so hard.
Yeah, when I was a young kid, I still didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
And it was hard to have to be in front of everybody while being afraid of who I was.
Yeah.
So like embarrassed, and I was like, I know there's something in me that makes me different than what I was told I should be, but I don't understand it yet.
Yeah.
Like I still need time to figure that out. But here I am in front of 30 million people every week, and just kind of like, okay. And I was always used to hiding, and like, okay, I won't talk. I'll just hide in the background, and that's how I'll cope and survive.
Yeah.
But trying to do that while on a TV show doesn't work.
No.
And I feel like a lot of people watched my awkwardness as I tried to be like on for a few minutes, but then I'm like, oh, this is going for months now, and I don't know how to stay on for everyone because I'm so used to just reverting back into like my corner and hiding.
Yeah.
And I don't have a place where I can escape.
Yeah.
And so I think that's that emotion, that mentality was what made the American Idol experience one of the hardest parts of the book to write about. More so than what it was going on in actuality. It was my mental state and having to revisit being so afraid and wanting to escape so badly and being so embarrassed of who I was and yet being praised for who I was from people while thinking they don't really know who I am because I don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if I deserve the praise I'm getting.
Yeah. Well, and at such a young age, no one knows who they are, right? But it was really cool that you were willing to put yourself out there. But something interesting in the book is you also felt like anytime you would try to voice what you wanted, it would get shut down by your dad or other people on the show. And so I'm sure that made you just kind of like go into your shell more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that had to have been hard. I can't imagine. Something that I really thought was interesting too was once you did kind of accept your same-sex attraction, you felt more devout. And like you were like, okay, I have to give it my all. And I was, you were confessing to your church leaders about this, but still like giving it 100%. What made you do that, and where was your mindset when that was the case?
Yeah, so I do talk about it in the book as well. The first time that I finally just came to terms with my sexuality was on my mission. And the first person that I spoke to about it was one of my mission leaders. And so that was a pretty interesting experience. He didn't really say anything about it. So I just thought, I guess I can just still stay on my mission. Yeah. And when I came back from my mission, then I told a couple of my sisters and my mom, I was like, I'm gay. I just flat out said it. But there was a but. And I said, but I believe that God has a plan for me, and if I have faith, like he will help me get through it however I'm supposed to get through this. And when I started letting some of my other church leaders at home know and said, hey, I think I might be gay, people started saying, they would respond by saying, you're not gay. I don't know if anyone else has anyone ever felt that?
We got some hands.
Yeah, oh my gosh, who else has gone through that? Okay, I see.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all are feeling me. So that's kind of what's validating about this is to realize you're not alone in your experience because you feel like you're going through it alone, like you're the only person who's got a problem. And but anyway, one of my church leaders said, "You're not gay. You just struggle with same-sex attraction."
Yep. So. That like phrase is in the book so much.
I know y'all have heard that before. So,
yep. He's like, you're just confused.
Yeah. And so they're like, if you say you're gay, that means you have, that means you're accepting the sin. But if you say you struggle with same-sex attraction, you're just acknowledging you have the feelings, but you don't act on them. Oh my gosh, I'm preaching to the choir here.
Yes. And you were nervous.
Oh, man.
I love that. No, it's so true. And I feel like in the book you shared that you had close relationships with a lot of these church leaders. And after you came out, you tried to make a change. Do you feel like any of it helped?
Well, that's what was frustrating. When I was writing the book, my meetings I was having, specifically with Elder Ballard, were being had in real time.
Yeah.
So, like, I would write the book, and then I would have another meeting suddenly pop up. And so then I would be like, okay, well, here's the update.
It's like a journal.
Yeah, I was kind of like waiting to see what would happen. But it was kind of nice to do that because each time the meeting was had, it was fresh in my mind. I would record it. I would talk about it. So that I was like, I want to make sure I document these because these were really significant conversations that I was having with a worldwide church leader.
That's smart. And
I felt like, well, by that point, when I was talking to him and had come out and, are you going to ask a question about this?
Oh, no, I mean, I want to hear about it. So yeah,
okay.
Keep going.
I was like, okay, by that point, it was June 2021 and I came out and I finally was like, you know what? I felt this really spiritual experience. I mean, I always understood it as God. And if anything, it was the most God experience I'd ever had.
Yeah.
To feel to be so used to conditioning yourself to despise who you are and to hate yourself, and you think that you're doing the right thing by doing so until you can change who you are. And then to be able to hear this, what I felt understood at that time was God say, stop asking me to change you. I need you to see you how I see you now. I don't see you the way that even well-meaning people who try to follow me see you. That's was the answer I got. And I was like, I thought I was going to get, yes, you have prayed, you have been diligent, you are now straight.
Doesn't
That's
work
what
that
I
way.
was expecting. And so to get that, I was like, huh? But I was just like, I don't want to mess up though. I've tried so hard to not mess up and not make mistakes and not cross that line I'm not supposed to. And then I felt God say, well, I give you permission to make mistakes. You're supposed
Love that.
to. And the things you think are mistakes, you're going to realize they aren't.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to, so.
I love that. No, that's great. I feel like you've been such an inspiration to so many people, and having this book out there is going to affect so many lives. So you're doing a great thing. But I am curious, what made you actually leave the church? Because you did, stick around for a while. What was the final thing?
Yeah, I was trying everything I could that I knew how mentally and emotionally, what I was capable of. I feel like every person's different, For me, I was just like, maybe I can stay here and make a change. And I just realized I do not have the energy to keep this conversation going. I had an interview done by Deseret News where they wanted to ask me about my experience. And I told them about my prayer that I had, where I was like, that was my personal revelation. And it felt it was just like an awakening, And talking about trying to find my place in the church, even though I had come out and was dating guys. And the interviewer was like, wow, you've changed my perspective. I've never spoken to someone who's part of the LGBTQ plus community like this. It's this is bringing me so much clarity on things. And he's like, I feel like this is going to change a lot of people's lives. And I was like, I hope so. Because a lot of people are taking their lives.
Yeah.
And I was getting tired of hearing those stories. And so I was doing that, hoping to, make space for queer people to be heard within the church. And a month or so passed, and the article didn't come out when it was supposed to. And so I asked my publicist, I'm like, hey, what happened to this article? And can you check back? And we went back and spoke to someone. They're like, we're getting a lot of pushback.
Wow.
We're getting a lot of pushback to release this article. We're trying everything we can so that it can still come out. But I was just kind of I wonder, and I get it. I get it because I was bringing forward a conversation that challenged what the church's stance was at that time, generally. And then when the article came out, I saw how they kind of would piece things I said together to make it sound like I was in line with what they wanted.
Gosh.
And so, and then they would use part of what I said and then add a quote from an apostle and make it sound like that's what I felt.
Wow.
But it was just this is being put together in a way that makes it look like I'm ashamed of who I am. And that even though I'm exploring this route that I know better, I'm like, no. I feel great where I am. I've never felt more sure in myself. And I don't want someone misrepresenting me.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big moment where I was like, I was taught to stand for truth.
Yeah.
And to stand up for what I believe in and to be honest. And I feel like I keep being pushed into a corner by the very leaders who taught me this stuff to misrepresent myself and to be dishonest. Because, I mean, oh my gosh. Well, the book.
He's reading the book for us, basically.
I want to keep it, I feel like the tone, I want to keep a certain tone
For
with
sure.
how I approach these conversations. And so the book keeps it there. I don't want to
It does. You do a great job.
trigger everybody here. So, yeah.
Well, I do think it's interesting that you say some of the church leaders were like, you're not gay because you were engaged to 3 women. And I think you gave it your all and you really tried, right?
Yeah.
So I think you're pretty confident in who you are.
Love it. Yeah.
You do share in the book, there's, a moment when you had these 3 engagements that ended and then you went to therapy and you were in a low place and you were having suicidal thoughts. Do you feel like this book is going to help people who may be in that mindset? And what were you thinking back then?
I hope so. It was really hard, and that's why I try to be really cautious with how to approach the conversation in this book. That's why I don't want it to ever feel like, I want to show, yes, some anger and frustration, but I don't want to be like raising my fist like, because that approach to things scared me when I was in the church still.
Yeah.
And I didn't see another way. I didn't know how to come out of that. And that's I mentioned also where one of my friends gave me a book from my friend, Charlie. Well, now he's my friend. I didn't know him at the time, but Charlie Bird. I was still in the church. And when she gave me the book, I was like, why are you giving me this book? I was like, what are you trying to say about me? I took it very offensively
I'm sure.
at first, like defensively, I should say. And it was the first time, because this is the approach, and this is why I try to be like, is there a way to still let people know who grew up in the same bubble and community that I grew up in? Because it was released on Deseret Book, and Charlie was still going to church.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe it's okay for me to listen to him. And it was the first time I saw someone who was a member of the church say, without any shame, I'm gay.
Yeah.
And he said, and this is why I identify as gay. Because I had the what's it called? The framing, like the conditioning that if I used that word, it was bad. It was sinful. So I was like, how is this okay that he's saying this? And he said, this is why I identify. He's like, it's more, yes, it's part of my sexuality, but he's like, it's so much of my identity as well. And it was the first time that I was like, whoa, what if it's okay for me to be gay? And it's doesn't have to be looked at as a negative thing and a bad thing. And so that was the first time I started just, without any excuses, start saying, I'm queer, or I'm gay, I'm bisexual. I was like experimenting to see like what felt right. And so it was, that was like a really big moment for me. And I was just like, if he didn't have that approach, I wouldn't have listened, and I don't know where I would be now. I don't know if I would have been able to process it the way, because I was so devout.
Yeah.
And I started getting messages from people who were also so devout, but they didn't make it to today. They took their life because they never had someone say it's okay to be who you are. So that's why I try to be really sensitive, and I try to still make it in a way that is digestible for people who still may need a hand to reach out to let them know it's okay to accept them. Even if, regardless of the pushback that they may get, because there's still a lot of pushback that we get.
Yeah.
But,
This book's a great start. I think it's going to help so many people. What gave you the courage to finally come out? Was that terrifying?
Yeah, it was hard, because I felt like if I did, I'm like, what if I'm letting everyone down? Because I was supposed to be like this example to everybody, and I didn't know what kind of example I was going to be now. Because most of the people who knew who I was weren't queer or gay. Most of them were straight. and I didn't know if I was going to lose respect from all those people. And I didn't know if I was going to lose my community. I didn't really know anyone who was gay or queer.
Wow.
So I had a couple of friends. My publicist was gay, and one of my friends, Kevin McHale, was gay and is gay. They're both gay.
Hasn't changed.
Yeah. And so I was just really scared to lose everything I knew.
Yeah.
And but it just got to a point where I'm like, well, what is worse to lose? Like my community and having to start over, or lose my life, which was what I was considering doing.
Yeah.
And I just said, what if, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to start all over again and lose everything I had. But then I started saying, wait a second, what if I get to start over?
Yeah.
I get to start over.
Wow.
And like look at myself in a way that I've never given myself a chance before.
And you gained a new community, which is amazing.
I have. And some of my community from before has shown their support and worked to understand and support me where they are, which I appreciate a lot.
Yeah.
And my family, a lot of my family, they were moving with me. And we kind of thankfully were able to figure that out together.
I love that.
Talk through it and freak out together. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is so, I don't know what to think of this. And I feel like I'm losing like my sense of self and purpose. But it's nice to have someone to talk to. Not everyone gets that opportunity. Some people have to make that journey on their own.
Yeah.
And so I just want you to know, anyone who's been through that or is going through that, I just want to let you know how much I just feel for you. And I just want to let you know I love you. And I see you and respect you for that decision, and am so proud of you for having the courage to do that, because it is tough, and it is tough. I don't know how you do it, because that wasn't my full experience, but I'm so happy for you that you've been able to choose yourself. That's a hard thing to feel okay doing when you grew up with the mentality that we grew up with.
I love that. So inspiring. Well, my last question is, kind of what you've been saying, but what would you say the goal for this book is, and what would you want both communities you're a part of to take away from it?
I would just hope that people who are still part of the community I grew up in, whether it was the Utah community or the Latter-day Saint community, or for them, I hope that they just understand a little more our struggle, and that it isn't just we just are lazy and we want to just become sinners and do whatever the hell we want. We're trying everything we know how a lot of times to try and stay, try to change who we are and to belong, and to keep our community, because it's all we know.
Yeah.
We don't know what else is out there, and it's usually a painful, heartbreaking decision. And sometimes like we have no other choice. Like it's usually like our final, it's like the final option that we usually end up having.
Yeah.
We have to choose ourselves. But thank God that we choose ourselves.
Yes.
And so I just hope they have compassion and understand, or just feel seen. And because I know a lot of members have LGBTQ plus loved ones that they ache for and want to be included more in their community.
Yeah.
And for the queer community, I just hope that they feel like their story is told and seen, because our story has too often been pushed down, pushed to the side, and act like it's not even happening, that we're not experiencing pain. And when we try to have the conversation, it's constantly shut down. And I can't even imagine, like I was buddy with so many of them, and I was shut down constantly. So I can't imagine what it's like to try and talk to leader and be heard, and then just be tossed to the side and act like you don't even exist anymore, and you're invisible, and so is your pain. So I just hope you feel seen, and I hope this lights a little fire under their ass to know that we deserve to have our story heard.
Yeah.
You know, we're not asking for too much. I don't feel like I feel like we're asking for what we deserve.
Agreed.
And if you believe in God, then you would believe that we're, you know, all of God's children deserve to have a chance to belong.
Yes.
And to be included and to feel God's love.
I love that. Well, I do feel like the world's changing, and I think you in this book are an important part of that change. So thank you for being so brave, so honest, so open. And the book touched me so much, I can't imagine what it's going to do for other people in your position. So thank you. Those are my questions for you. And now we have some audience questions.
Ooh.
And they're juicy. I read through them. They're really good. Okay, so these are from you guys. They were pre-submitted. And if this was your question, feel free to go up to the mic or shout out, and then we'll also get some from you guys. So I'm going to say the first one's super important. Who's your favorite Backstreet Boy?
Oh, my gosh. Whose question is this, by the way?
Yeah, who said this? I'm like, oh, it was mine.
Huh? No? Okay.
They turned the house lights on.
Yeah, turn them up. I mean, it's kind of weird because like I do know some of the Backstreet Boys.
Oh, I love it.
And they're sweet. They're sweet. Like AJ is sweet, Nick is sweet. But they're all sweet. They're all sweet. But I feel like there's like a special like connection I have with Kevin. Like he's just such a sweet.
That was the right answer.
Yeah.
I love that.
He's just so sweet. And yeah.
I love that. Great answer.
That.
Okay.
They're all great though. I love all of them.
Yeah, that's going to become like a headline, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Who have been your guiding influences since coming out and deconstructing?
Okay. And whose question is this?
Does
someone
anyone
know?
Anyone?
Anybody? Okay. No. Okay, what was the question though?
So who have been your guiding influences since coming out and deconstructing? I guess you kind of mentioned Charlie.
I know. And can I give you a shout out, Charlie? I invited Charlie to come here and Ryan. Thank you. And,
amazing.
Yeah, I just feel like it's important to show diversity and like being queer and the experience can look a lot of different ways. And I'm so grateful that Charlie and Ryan, you show to Utah that it can look a different way and that it could like that kind of, if we're able to understand and listen a little more, that a community and a congregation could be welcoming and accepting if they had the right conversations and there was space for them. And so anyway, I would say that my family was a big part of that as well. The fact that my family was willing to learn with me. I've kind of become infamous now, the conversation I had when I first told my mom that I was like, Mom, just so you know, I'm going to start dating guys. And my mom said, honey, I love you, but I love God more. And I can't accept this about you. And I testify to you, God's plan is to marry a woman and have kids, and that's his only plan for happiness. I was like, Mom, I get it. I believed all that up until a week ago. And I don't need you to accept what I'm doing. And I think that was a really big, powerful moment that I learned is
I love that.
I don't need you to accept what I'm doing. I just need you,
Yep.
I just want you to respect that I'm making the best decision for me.
That's amazing.
But there was a big moment where it was like, okay, I'm not making choices based on what other people think of me, even if I love them. And my mom was willing to come around and say, hey, then to eventually be like, hey, I'm going to step away from the church as well. And I was like, Mom, you don't have to do that. And she's like, I don't want to be somewhere where my children don't feel loved and welcomed.
I love that.
And if you're going to...
Good, Mom.
Yeah. And she concluded by saying, and if you're going to hell, we're all going to hell with you.
Which inspired Hell Together, right?
Yeah, Hell Together, yeah.
The best song.
Oh,
so good.
Thank you.
Okay, while writing Devout, was there one of your own songs that you leaned on emotionally during the hardest parts of the process? Or do you not listen to your own music? I've actually always wondered that.
I do listen to my own music now.
Love that. He's like, I'm my number one artist on Spotify.
No, oh my gosh.
Are you? No! I was joking.
But you know what? I feel like
love that.
to be fair, it's because I use Spotify to do my rehearsals.
Okay, there
So,
you go.
like, I am like, okay, let's do it again, and like practicing the choreography and all that. And I feel like that inflates the numbers more than what's realistic.
It does,
but
it does. What's the
but
number
I
one
do-
song on your Spotify?
On mine, I think last year it was a song I released last year called "Can I Call You."
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Thank you. But Creme Brulee was up there as well.
That one's so good, you guys. So
Gosh.
good. I love that. Okay, I have a couple more questions for you. How have you overcome being a people pleaser and putting everyone's happiness and comfort above your own?
Hey! I feel like we need to give you a mic. Can you?
Yeah, let's
what's
get
your
a mic
name?
over there. You can kind of expand upon this.
Amber.
Oh, no way!
1, 2.
I love
Hello.
that. Okay, well,
Hi, Amber.
that was a great. Yeah, she's loud.
Oh, but this way we can get it like, yeah.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Oh, should I ask my full question?
again.
Yeah, could you?
Oh, hi, Dave. Okay. Yeah, so I wanted to ask how you overcome being a people pleaser and putting everyone else's happiness and peace above your own. Because kind of like the church kind of conditions that, but also I can tell you were an awkward, shy kid like me, and that's... Anyways, I'm going to stop talking and let you answer the
We're
question.
going to have a whole other discussion about that. Yeah.
For later.
Well, thank you, Amber, for the question. I would say it was a process because, like you said, I feel like you kind of grew up, in a lot of religions, you grow up that's a selfish take. And you're not supposed to be selfish. You're supposed to think of others before yourself. And so, I think it's presented that way a lot. In churches, like gay people are being selfish because they're putting themselves first. And I think that is not, instead of looking at it as a selfish thing, it should be looked at as self-love. Because it's like, if something makes you happy and brings you joy, like, give yourself what gives you that love and that joy. I mean, for a long time, it's like, I don't know, some people feel like the gospel is what makes them happy, and so they give themselves that, that joy. And I think for me in my experience, it's like, okay, despite what people think, they can say all they want about, oh, that's selfish and greedy. But I'm like, you know what? Putting myself first allowed me to keep living. I mean, if I'm going to be just blunt and honest, if I didn't put myself first, I literally was willing to give up my life. And I think that was the wrong perspective. And if there's a God told me to choose myself because that's how he created me. I was created and I had to be willing to learn how to love who that was. And gosh, to not care what other people think, oh man, that's been a process. And I think in the book I go a lot because I was constantly giving my agency, my choices, and even what I cared about and what I thought to other people. I'm like, it doesn't matter what I thought. I'm just going to give it to everybody else and seek their approval. And it was very hard for me to transition to say, how do I feel? What do I think? What matters to me? What am I passionate about? And so as difficult as that is, I would just encourage you to go out of your comfort zone and choose yourself. And look at it rather than as a selfish thing, because I don't believe it is a selfish thing. It's a loving choice because you're giving love to life. Like you're alive, you're breathing, so you're taking care of yourself. And I don't see how that's a negative thing or a selfish thing to take care of yourself. And I think it's easy to like warp that in a church and like faith setting, but when you look at it in abuse, where it's like you have to choose yourself, a lot of times, my dad, bless his heart, he's changed a lot, but a lot of times when I tried to speak up for myself, he would put me down and say I was being selfish, because I was, and I'm like, you know what? If this is selfish, taking care of myself and standing up for myself, so be it. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to allow myself to be treated this way anymore. So and that can be looked at in a religious setting too. So, yeah.
That was a great question.
Yeah, thank you, Amber.
Okay,
you, guys.
speaking of
Who wants
religion, what things have you done to maintain your own spirituality outside of organized religion?
Whew.
That's a good one. Who is it?
yeah.
Oh, is that yours? Oh my gosh, that's a
Hi.
great one.
What was your name? Jessica. Hi, Jessica. I've tried to just find more balance in life. I do love going to like music festivals, EDM festivals, particular
He's like, that's my new
raves.
church.
It is like something that I was always taught to be afraid of. I found so much community, so much oneness, and pluriculture I just love, which is rave culture. It's peace, love, unity, respect, and responsibility. And I think it's just a beautiful thing to lead by. And you go there and you all just are connected in a different way, and you escape and allow yourself to just release everything that you've been holding on to. And to feel a little silly, you dress up a little however you want to, really. Or you can just be in a t-shirt and jeans if you want to, like however. And you go in and there's a sign that says, everyone is welcome here. And they mean it. And I was just like, I'm so used to growing up to a place where it's like, everyone is welcome, but don't expect to stay the same. Like, we expect you to change and become more uniform with the rest of us. And there's beauty in, like, I guess there's things to appreciate in that, but I love going to a place where instead of expecting people to have to change, they can come as they are, and everyone celebrates together. And despite how different everyone is, you feel one. And you feel united and connected to something bigger than you. And that exists in other spaces and not just in churches.
That's amazing. Okay, the last one is really good. Someone asked, can I buy you dinner?
Oh my gosh.
I bought you dinner once, didn't
You
I?
did?
Did
Yeah.
I pay at Solocave or did you?
I don't remember.
I don't know. It was a really great experience, so I'd recommend it.
It was, that was lunch, yeah.
It was lunch, you're
Yeah.
right. Sorry. But that's a
no,
good
that's-
question. I love it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He's getting shy? Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay,
That's
well,
sweet. Thank you for offering.
that was a good one.
I hate committing before I really know what I'm getting myself into, but I do appreciate very much the thought behind that. Thank you. Very, very kind of you.
Okay. I did hear a rumor that you were going to sing for us tonight.
The rumor might be true.
Oh! I
Okay.
can't wait.
Shall we
Let's do it.
Okay,
Let's hear it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here again, everyone. This was so beautiful, so lovely. Okay, so I did an EP to go with the DEVOUT memoir, and it's the DEVOUT EP. Right now it's in the audiobook, so at the end of it. Oh, thank you. So I'm going to sing one of the songs from there, and it's called Old and Young. And I feel like a lot of you will relate to it. I wrote it with one of my friends, Savannah Scrow is her name, and we met in the YSA ward in Nashville when we were both going there. And we reconnected in LA, and we had both left the church at that point. And this song was about how hard it is, like knowing it's the right path for us that we took, but how hard it is to know what to do after that and to find yourself and feel okay with starting over. And so, yeah, this is Old and Young. Never had those rebel days or ever even had a drink. Dated girls that played safe, tried to get over that face, but couldn't make me feel that way. I'm old and I'm young at the same time. I'm still finding out what it feels like to be falling in love, finally feel good enough. Yeah, I'm starting to understand I'm human. I don't dress up on Sundays now. I wanna pray but don't know how. Not so sure where to begin, 'cause it's real hard to start again when it doesn't feel allowed. Yeah, I'm old and I'm young at the same time. I'm still finding out what it feels like to be falling in love, finally feel good enough. Yeah, I'm starting to understand I'm human. Whoa. I'm old and I'm young at the same time. I'm still finding out what it feels like. Thank you. Thank you. Can I do one more? Do I have time for one more?
Yes!
Okay. Can I do On Purpose? That was like when I was like in the middle. I want to do Devout is like the prequel to where my life is now. I want to do a song that segues to David today and how it feels. Okay. So this is a segue, and then where David is today will come in a bit, but this is On Purpose. Woke up in a stranger's bed somewhere in Ireland. I think we did something more than just falling asleep. At the karaoke bar, free shots took it way too far, acting like a person I was told to never be. Might be a delayed identity crisis, a 10 years too late phase, indulging in vices. Or maybe it's fine and I'm right on time. Does this mean I'm living my life? I know I'm not perfect, but I'm not a bad person. I'm trying to unlearn everything, so I'll have a few drinks, I deserve it. To make mistakes on purpose. Sundays taught me what to fear all throughout my teenage years. Even now a part of me feels like I should repent. Have discipline and self-control. Don't you dare be sexual. I can't even count the things that need me to confess. Probably a delayed identity crisis, a 10 years too late phase, indulging in vices. Or maybe I'm making up for lost time. Does this mean I'm living my life? I know I'm not perfect, but I'm not a bad person. I'll try to not take all the blame, let myself off from grace, I deserve it. To make mistakes on purpose. Oh no, I make mistakes on purpose. I'm gonna stay out too late, tell a stranger come over, wake up, headache, how'd I get this hungover? Live a little bit too much, even when I fuck things up, I know I'll be okay. I'm not perfect, but I'm not a bad person. I try not to take all the blame, so I have a few drinks, I deserve it. To make mistakes on purpose. Let myself fall from grace on purpose.
amazing. Seriously, the most amazing voice.
Thanks, y'all. Thank you, Jessi.
Thank
Please give it up for
you.
Jessi for being willing to do this. You're amazing.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks
you.
for the wonderful conversation.
Thank you guys for coming out tonight and for supporting David. It's the most amazing person, you know. Like I tell everyone, he is like the sweetest, most genuine person ever, and I'm so grateful to be your friend. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm grateful to be your friend too.
We're in love.
And we're able to instigate. Don't tell
Plot
that to
twist.
Jordan. Jordan, you didn't hear that.
I love
No.
it. Well, thank you guys for coming out tonight. It's such an honor.
And I'll see y'all because I'm gonna start personalizing books. So.
Love it.
Yeah. Love y'all. Thank you. Thanks, y'all.